This is the Mitchell, I believe it's the MM100. Um, this is a Mitchell, kind of a Strat-like guitar from Guitar Friend, Musician's Friend, and their associated companies. Um, this is kind of an example of what can be wrong with a guitar. So I bought this really to be able to take the neck off because it's a bolt-on, and then it would fit in my luggage, as opposed to taking an extra separate guitar case, in which case then I often would have to check my bag, or at least gate check it. So I wanted something that the neck would actually fit into the luggage. If you take the neck off of a full-size guitar, it won't fit into my particular luggage. So, and I travel a lot of airports that baggage claim is hassle. And so this is a, I believe they call this a 2/3 or 3/4 scale. But it's got a lot of things wrong with it. The finish is not too bad. Don't particularly like the color. To me, it's too dark, but it's not bad as a whole. The only thing with the appearance, which could be a little functional, is that on the side of the fretboard here, it's like somebody took a file, maybe when they were taking down the fret ends, but it's actually filed down on the wood. In fact, it kind of looks like it's scalloped, but it's just the edges. That's pretty bad workmanship. The other thing is the screw for the truss rod cover was stripped out, so I got to get another screw to put on there. And there's some other things wrong with it, because appearance, I know, is important to some people, but to me, it's how it plays. And the fretwork isn't that bad, but the Tunematic style bridge is actually on an angle instead of it being straight. That's number one. The other thing is that the bridge is actually in the wrong position. You probably can't see it, but actually I have the saddles on most of these strings all the way, and the intonation's still off. So evidently the bridge should have been out a little bit more. So that's a problem, because you can't get the intonation set, and you don't want to re-drill for this kind of bridge. The other thing is that the tuners have a very poor ratio, so it can be a little difficult to tune it, and it doesn't stay in tune very well. So I don't know if it's the tuners not holding. I did try changing to another set of strings, and that didn't help much, but I do need to go to a heavier set, because I have this tuned to a G, so a step and a half higher, because it's completely unplayable with nines on it. It's just too loose, and because of the short scale. So I'm going to put 10s on it next and try it. I just didn't want to put too much into this, because I just want something that I don't care if it gets lost, and I'm not going to travel a lot with it. The other thing is the pickups and the sound. If you can hear, it's got a buzz, and yet my hand is on the strings, but it will go away if I touch the jack. Well, that's because the ground wire is either not making contact or loose or something. So it's got no ground going to the bridge, in which case none to the strings, and it's rather obnoxious. Unfortunately, it can be a pain to fix, because to get these out, you normally want to take the bushing out, and when you take the bushing, depending on the finish, you can crack the finish. So I don't know whether all of them are like this. I got this shipped to me, and unfortunately, by the time I got around to taking a look at it, it was too late to return it, so I'm kind of stuck with it. So it's got the buzz, and I'll have to find another way of dealing with the buzz. Probably seeing if I can get the bridge post out and maybe put some aluminum foil in there or something. But it's got a pretty loud buzz. Of course, depends on the preset I'm using. And the other thing is the pickups have no bass. You really don't even hear the fundamental notes of the lower strings. So if I play this up, and it's starting to go out of tune, even though I tuned it just before I flipped the camera on. But it just doesn't have any real bass to it. This is a Marshall preset, and if I go to, say a deluxe. So, if I go to the middle position, and it's a 3-position switch, and also the switch is kind of on a little bit of an angle, but and if I go to the bridge position, so the sound isn't great, no matter which setting you use. At least I didn't really think it too much. It's got kind of a weird sound to it. So the pickups, I guess you could replace it if you really wanted to, but I paid, I want to say around $80 on sale or something, maybe $90, because I thought I needed it right away, but it turned out I left without it. The other thing with the pickups is the tape that's around the outside is all loose. It's almost like it doesn't have any glue or anything, so probably needs to be glued on with something. But with the bad ground, it's noisy to play, but I want something I can just sit in a hotel or someplace if I get stuck in an airport late, pull it out, and I don't necessarily even have to hear it. I just kind of just sit and play whatever. But I just have to say that the fretwork isn't that bad, but other than that, and the finish is okay. It's not playable because the grounding issue, the pickups sound horrible, and it won't stay in tune. So I would not recommend buying this. And if you check another guitar, check all these. Look for screws that are stripped. Listen to the sound of the pickups, so that means actually plugging it into an amp. I know there's some people who think, oh, it looks pretty, and they never hear what it sounds like. But if you're changing out pickups, that adds significantly to cost. This is also an angled plug, if it matters to anybody. It's similar to what you find on a Ibanez Gem or Ibanez Prestige and some other models. I have a comparison, same thing. But the ground is hard to fix, so on these kind of bridges, so you have to take that into account. And you know, it would just need too much to upgrade this. You would need new tuners, new pickups, and probably have to take a chance of damaging the finish by removing the bridge bushings. So all in all, it is what it is, but